Thank you, and I thank my dear friend from Texas for having this time and for honoring such a great American hero. Chris Kyle clearly loved his country, loved his family. He loved those with whom he served and was willing to lay down his life for his friends. Every time he was committed to hostile theater, he knew he may be laying down his life for his friends. He also knew that the ultimate authority on love, Jesus, as quoted in John 15:13, said, "Greater love hath no one than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." Chris had that commitment every time he was in a hostile area. He was willing to do that. And the fact that he gave up his life trying to help another service member who was suffering from mental problem still is an act of laying down his life in service for others. He did it for this country. He did it for his friends. He did it for those, including the gunman that took his own life. Now, it was a very moving service. I don't believe it was broadcast, but for all of us who were there, we were deeply moved. The show of support and love and affection for an American hero was deeply touching. Chad Littlefield, same situation, a man that was willing to lay down his life for his friends, and he did. And I think most people, Mr. Nagelbauer, have heard and read about this extraordinary man, Chris Kyle, his service to the country, 3 silver stars, 5 bronze stars. What an incredible, incredible service to this country. He deserves the tribute being brought and much, much more. But I would like to say a little bit about the sacrifice of some American heroes who don't always get recognized as heroes. In Chris's case, it's his wife, Taya, and their 2 children. Sweet little notes on the bulletin at the funeral that they had written. His parents, it was an honor to meet Chris's parents. But we don't often think of the families and what they've laid down. They have lost a father, a husband, a friend, confidant, a man that would do anything for them. They have paid an ultimate sacrifice. I was reading some years back in, actually it's a journal, basically, that C.S. Lewis had written after his wife died. And one of the entries, he was talking about how much he missed his wife, how much he wished he had her back, and then he realized how selfish that was because she was in paradise, and his act of selfishness was to want the loved one to come back into a world that loved one would only have to someday again die before they could return to paradise. I believe with all my heart that Chris, as a Christian, is in paradise. He's greatly missed, and especially by those closest to him that paid that ultimate price. We wish he were back, but then he would have to go through that process again. C.S. Lewis said, he said, we've always heard that Stephen was the first martyr, but didn't Lazarus get the raw ordeal? And I never thought about it before. Jesus, we're told, raised Lazarus from the dead, and you can't find any reference in Scripture to Lazarus saying anything ever, because he might have said something like, I was in paradise and you're bringing me back here now? But nonetheless, Chris has served honorably and well. He's greatly missed. And we should not forget the family members of those who have lost loved ones in service to this country. They have paid an ultimate price. His parents, his wife, his kids, his brother. Obviously, his brother sorely missed Chris. So a tribute to Chris, to those who have sacrificed in giving their loved one Chris for our country. And I yield back to my friend, Mr. Nagelbauer.
I thank the gentleman.